What's up, everybody? Good thing I have everybody on mute. This is my microphone off. Anyway, hello, everyone. How are we all doing? I hope we're all doing well. Welcome to the next show will be better. It's the Hickson Diaries live stream podcast. Always excited to have you guys here. Tonight is going to be kind of fun. We're going to do something just a little bit different and see what you all think. We're of course going to be talking about whether I'm a proper Brit. We're going to go over the poll results from the community tab this week. We are also going to, we have to talk about the World Cup because it's going to open. All the friendlies have started, but then there's an opening ceremony. And then it's a real tournament that starts. I don't know. You guys can definitely clue me in on some of that. And then we're also going to I'm going to give you a list of my favorite things about the UK. So make sure you stick around for that as well. But if you wouldn't mind making sure you hit that like button, share the stream so everyone knows we're live. And yeah. If you guys have any questions, comments, queries, concerns, anything you want to talk about specifically, make sure you send everything into the chat. Super chats are welcome, but just participation is more than enough. Yeah. All right. So let's see who's here because, it only gets better when you're there. I know Manny got the gold star today. He was the first one in the pre-chat. So I'm just going to start calling it the pre-chat, by the way. I didn't, I need my glasses. I didn't really land on that name. That just seems to be what I keep calling it. So I guess that's what it's going to be. All right. Manny is here. Hello. Thank you so much for being here and being a member. Appreciate it. Ewan is here. Thank you for being here, Ewan. I hope you are doing well. Richard is here as well. Glad to have you. Diane is here, also a member. Thank you for that, Diane. Glad to have you with us. Enjoying the sunny end of a bad weather day. Today's weather was really just off the wall. It was bad. It wasn't bad. It was bad for like 10 minutes. It was like a thundering and stuff for like 10 minutes, and it was really downpouring. And then it stopped, and it was sunny, and the birds were chirping, and then it was downpouring again. It was crazy. Crazy British weather. Diane says that you're tired because you've been painting like a wall or doing like an actual painting? Because I love that. Richard said I've been painting little figurines. Oh, everyone's painting today. Lord. Manny says it's lovely now. Yeah. We're going to start getting warmer again, right? I think it starts tomorrow. I'm not sure. But it is supposed to be a little bit warmer and sunnier for the next few days, which will be nice. Diane says it sounds more artistic than the painting I've been doing, Richard. Diane's just been painting walls. Sorry, excuse me. Something Americans don't seem to do, paint figurines. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some that do it, but yeah, it's not like a typical pastime, at least not that I'm aware of. Yeah, what figures are they? Tell us more, Richard. Books cover most of my walls. What's up, Roy Cousins? Thank you for being here. Glad to have you, and thank you for being a member of the Mandyverse. Richard's some Scooby-Doo adjacent figures from Crooked Dice, including a mysterious van. Interesting. Manny's ready for the World Cup. Woohoo! Did y'all hear that the Somalian ref didn't get let into the country? It is going to be an interesting World Cup, dude. Do you know what else I found out? So, they're having the final at Giant Stadium in New Jersey, which is fabulous. They're also having an England game in the Philadelphia Stadium, literally on our doorstep. My partner is gutted. Cheeseburger rice. Is that just like hamburger with cheese mixed with rice? That's what it sounds like, some concoction that I would create because that's all I got left in the cupboard. Hello, Mick MacArthur. Thank you for being here and thank you for being a part of the Mandyverse. Hello, Marja. How are you? I hope you're enjoying your Mandyverse perks as well. Thank you for being here. McNitty cheeseburger style rice at Little. Oh, you know what that sounds like? I don't know if I've seen it here actually. Hamburger Helper. I think you probably have that here. But it typically is with noodles and rather than rice, but it's basically the same thing. Richard asks, do I hang out my washing? I do when it's nice, but it's not always nice enough to dry everything, is it? Oh, you're awesome, Manny. Love having you. Thank you. Volcana has a question. Thank you for being here, Volcana. I'm glad to have you. What shocked you the most when you first arrived to the UK? What shocked me the most? Probably the biggest shock would be the like green spaces and the amount of just green areas and parks that you have. It's not that we don't have them in the US, but at least where I'm from in New Jersey and in the area of Pennsylvania that I was in, which was just outside of Philadelphia, that's where I lived right before we moved. It's so built up and it's basically primed for commerce. Capitalist system run amok. There's so many highways and stuff, and it was greener in Pennsylvania than it was in New Jersey. But being such a small island and being around for so long, and I know you have a population here, obviously, and I know that you know, because you have limited space, you have to build for these people, for everybody that lives here. And you know, I just didn't expect there to be so many green spaces, so much nature, so many allotments. There's just a lot more than I expected. That's probably the biggest shock for me so far. I mean, there's other little ones along the way, of course, but incidentally, Mandy, the night of England's first group game against Croatia is also on your birthday. Is it? I guess that's probably how I'll be celebrating my birthday. Hello, Neil. How are you? Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a part of the Mandyverse. Crooked Dice do figures based on TV shows, just different enough that they don't get sued. Smart. Yeah, we got to watch out for all those copyright infringements, don't we? Marcia says, I'm intrigued about the World Cup whilst maintaining a balanced approach to the coverage on the media. Now I don't even know if you guys are actually, like, these are real comments or you're just writing them for me to say the word. Mick MacArthur says Scotland played Bolivia in Harrison, New Jersey. And they won. Awesome. Richard's ignoring the World Cup. Are you boycotting it? Diane says it's not her thing either. I understand. I mean, I don't have a choice. It's in my house. So Marcia says there's too many games to predict the tournament top score. Someone's going to be thumped 8-0 due to the expansion of the format. Yeah, I've heard that is an issue. Manny says, yes, the incident involving the Somali ref being refused entry to the U.S. is sadly, but no surprise. Oh, it's sadly no surprise. It shows how the U.S. thinks it's global or community police officer of the world. I don't even know that it's that, Manny, to be honest with you. I think it's probably more that they just, like, ICE just wants to be pricks. Like, they just want to deny people just for the headlines. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that, you know, it works itself out and doesn't cause too much havoc, but it's America, so who knows? Joe M says, greetings from Edmonton, Alberta. Greetings. Thank you for being here, and I'm glad to have you as a member. I've noticed the UK doesn't have as many overhead wooden utility poles as North America does. That's very, very true. There's, there's obviously in the cities, there's skyscrapers and stuff, but there's just not as many, like the buildings aren't as tall here as well on the outskirts of the cities, which is unusual, at least where I'm from. In New Jersey. It's a Jersey thing. You wouldn't understand. All right. We're going to go over the poll. So someone had called me in the comments a proper Brit about something, probably one of my shorts, to be honest with you. But what really got me was that there was like 25 likes or something great. Like it was probably more than 25, but there's a lot of likes with it. So it made me think, have I been becoming more British than not? So I put a poll out. So let's look at the poll and see some of the deets. So let me know in the comment, let me know in the chat, I mean, what you guys think, what you answered and why. All right. So it looks like we got 22% said absolutely. It's quite obvious. Okay, 28% said no way, once a yank, always a yank, but 49% said maybe a little. I need to delve into the maybe a little. Maybe a little? What do you guys think? So some of the comments. Let's go through real quick. Goldfinger says you developed critical thinking, otherwise you would not be making these videos. Fair, I guess. WC Cat FN says maybe you, like my wife, will be between two worlds for the rest of your natural life. When you go to the US, you will be English. When you are in the UK, you will be the American, but you will be accepted in both cultures. That would be nice. I don't know if I'll be accepted in America. I don't know if it works the same way. My partner was like that. They thought he was American. He didn't think he was American, but he was like American when he was here. But Americans are much more hard on people like that. Doug Brown says, you do seem a bit obsessed with comparing your past and present lives. I think I'd feel you had attained more Britishness if you calmed down, stopped very obviously worrying about it. Of course, you're becoming more British, but it's a long, slow process of just living your life here. Don't fret about it. It doesn't matter. You are what you are, and that's fine. I appreciate your comment, Doug Brown, but I'm obsessed with comparing my past and present lives. That's what the channel's about. What else do you want to know? I mean, if you want to know something or see me talk about something specific, I'd be happy to, but it's kind of what the channel's about, comparing my life in the US versus my life in the UK. Cobain in the Membrane, excellent handle, says, I would say you're British American. You have deprogrammed most of your Americanness, but haven't downloaded full Britishness yet. However, just making the step to deprogram from what most Americans think is normal or right and being able to view our perspective is not just an interesting, quirky thing, but a thing you felt comfortable embracing parts of over the American norm is a big thing that makes us welcome you as our own. Oh, that's lovely. You're a close relative rather than a distant one. You are an example of an American who is open to the rest of the world truly and not blinded by exceptionalism. I don't think a flag or an accent makes you British. I think accepting and enjoying being part of a diverse tapestry is what really makes you British. Tapestries are made more beautiful by the diversity and the sum of their parts. What an incredible compliment as well. Thank you for that. And there is a bit of a debate, isn't there, on what's British and all of that lately. So that's really nice that you put it that way. I like the way you did that. Thank you. Joanne Kun Life says, what does being a Brit actually mean? We're a multicultural melting pot, as we always have been, but there is an I'm British feeling. I live in a very mixed culture / race area of Bolton with plenty of Muslim and Hindu people. Those are religions, not people, but okay. It's a really friendly area. All the people here just as British as I am because they're proud of where they live. If they're British, which they are, in my honest opinion, then so are you now, Mandy. Thank you for that. You have the correct level of sarcasm, humor, and stoicism now. I think it's the stoicism that I'm like surprised at myself at. Although I've been told that my sarcasm has definitely been fine-tuned since I arrived. Simon Watson says, is your go-to small talk the weather? No. Do you cue instinctively? I am getting much better at the cueing. That is true. Do you understand one football, cricket, or rugby? Yeah, well, I understand football because of my partner. Is sarcasm second nature? Yes. Do you insult your friends more than your enemies? No, I insult them both. If you do all these things, you're well on your way. Well, I have some of them under my belt, so I got some work to do, it looks like. Definitely fits the meh category then. Jeannie says, ignore the football, cricket, and rugby. I'm a Brit and neither like nor understand any of them. On the other hand, it was winter sports, badminton, stool ball. What the hell is stool ball? What is that? That's the first time I've heard that. First of all, you all know that stool means poop, right? I'm not trying to be nasty. I'm just saying that is really what it means. Stool ball is a sport that dates back to at least the 15th century, originating in Sussex, southern England. It is considered a traditional striking and fielding sport and may be an ancestor of cricket, a game that resembles in some respects baseball, softball, and rounders. The sport has been called cricket in the air. There is evidence to suggest that it was played as a tradition by milkmaids who used their milking stools as a wicket and the biddle or the milk bowl as a bat. Hence, its archaic name, a biddle battle. All right, that is a new one on me. I had never heard that one before, but thank you for that, Jean. I appreciate it. Dave Bicker says, I can't make a decision until I've seen you use cutlery. Let's be Avenue says it's a telltale test. Richard said, just give it more time. Nevin says, once a Brit gets all in you, there's no washing out that yearning for hobnobs, a nice warm cup of tea, and understated sarcasm. All right, fair. 1702 says, I'd say it's more than maybe, but more inconspicuously, gently, a scale sliding back and forth between 85 and 90%. You have a history arriving as a mature adult and you don't need to forget it or live it down. You can be all of you. Oh, that's sweet. Thank you. Max Fleming says, my father was born in Glasgow, my grandmother on my mother's side, born and raised in Bristol. I emigrated here 26 years ago and speak near perfect British English, albeit with a slight American twang. And I'm resigned to the fate of never being considered fully British. The good news is, though, my daughter born here is considered British, her mom's English, and her father's just an anomaly, albeit largely acceptable. Fair enough, Max. You know what? If that ends up being my fate, it's not that bad. Birdie 1585 says, just open-mindedness will fit very well. Lose 99% of all American cocksuredness and add some degree of resignedness. And there you have it. It's a little bit of a tongue twister one. Sarah Glover says, how often do you drink tea? More often than I did in America, but not a lot, to be honest. Juno Palm Down Under says, in some places you aren't local till you have 2 generations in the graveyard. Ugh. All right, well, that'll happen long after I'm gone, probably. Graham Humphreys, if at all, the child doesn't want to have kids, so we'll see. Graham Humphreys says, if so, how long must I stay in a country to become part of that country? I've put once a Yank, always a Yank. Well, I mean, yeah, that's fair. I mean, I was just curious because so many people had liked it as if I was, had turned like a big leaf or turned, a big turn over or something. Anyways, that was that. I just thought, it would be kind of fun to check that out and see what you guys think. What do you guys think? If you haven't, if I didn't read yours, Richard, I know I read yours, but I don't think anyone else that's in the chat today, but answered. But let me know if I'm wrong. Volcana says, if the U.S. don't win, who do you want to win apart from England, of course? Oh, Holland, Volcana. I just really like Holland. And I was talking to someone in the comments today because they're from Holland. Their ancestors are from Holland, or they lived in Holland for a long time and they were a kid. But their parent, one of their parents is American, one of their parents is English, and they live in Australia. So they're like rooting for all of them. And we were talking about how I just really like watching Holland play. I just think they play really pretty. Like it's like a choreographed dance. I think I've mentioned this a few times before, but you may not have been here. I just feel like it's really nice to watch. And I was a dancer for a long time, and you know, from that artistic point of view, I just really like watching them play. Wild Shark says Doug sounds very condescending. Well, it happens. It's the internet, you know, the internet's going to internet. Marcia says, if England beat Croatia, I reckon they will get stronger and stronger, but then have a momentary lapse of reason, history speaks. Yeah, probably when it gets to penalties, right, Marcia? Richard said, my late wife thought Train Spotting was about train spotters. Well, I mean, the title is a little bit misleading for someone who doesn't know what the hell that means, which I didn't, to be honest, the first time I saw that movie. I need to play Aunt Sally. Are you talking to me, Richard? Who's Aunt Sally? Madam Boo says, hey, I've subscribed. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks so much. I'm so happy to have you here. Built Bodger said, I live in Whitby. Oh, I like Whitby. It's nice down there. And have for over 30 years. Will never be a local, just not a tourist either. Is that what it is? You just forever in that limbo state? I mean, I feel in that limbo state now. I'm just wondering if it'll ever get any better. That's all. Maybe, maybe not. I guess we'll just have to see. For 30 years in Whitby. So may I ask, are you from the US? Are you from a different country? Just curious if you don't mind sharing. An honorary Brit, Madam Boo says, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's kind of like the honorary degrees that you get from a university or something. It's not exactly real, but you're kind of accepted in that culture. So I guess that I'll settle for that. I can settle for that. Absolutely. Richard said my ancestors usually made an impression on other countries. Is that because they're British? Because that would make sense. Thank you, thank you, Madam Boo and Built Bodger, for joining us today. I appreciate it. Mick MacArthur says, you can take the girl out of Jersey, but you can't take the Jersey out the girl. Very true. Richard said, my late wife would cheer any team that played Croatia, being of Serbian descent. That makes sense. I don't have that kind of rivalry really with anybody. I mean, I suppose the US has a little bit of a rivalry with France, but it's definitely not as bad as y'all do. I'll tell you that. You guys in France, I mean, British people, and when it comes to France, it's another level sometimes, man. All right. Oh, you know what the other thing is I wanted to say about the World Cup, because I know we always have footballers in the chat. We were watching the New Zealand England game, and there were so many empty seats. And I heard that a lot of people, because the prices were jacked up so much, a lot of people made plans to go to the US for the World Cup, and then the FIFA is supposed to drop the ticket prices significantly, like 24 hours before the game, and that's when everyone's planning on buying them. Do y'all know anything about that? Is that true? Do they normally do that? I'm just curious. My partner didn't know. I didn't know if any of y'all knew. Madam Boo says, I'm looking forward to the World Cup. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be interesting. I hope Trump doesn't show up on any of the important matches because I don't know if you guys heard, but the New York Knicks are in the NBA Finals, which is humongous. I don't know. I don't remember the last time they were in the NBA Finals. It's been like decades. It's a huge thing. It's American basketball for any of you guys that don't know. It's huge, right? And it's New York. So I used to watch them a lot a long time ago. So we're rooting for them. We're excited. They were up 2-0. They have to win 4 games out of 7. They were up 2 games to 0, and then Trump goes to the 3rd game and they lose. So I don't want Trump to be at anything important because everything he touches turns to crap. And I hope this isn't like a permanent stink on the Knicks because it would be so amazing if they won. It would be so incredible if they won. I know you guys don't care, but I'm sharing it with you anyway. Hello, F11. Thanks for being here. Never, ever apologize for being late. If you can make it, we love it, but we know real life happens. Don't worry. But I appreciate you taking the time. Mick MacArthur says England and France, not Scotland. I'm not sure I follow you. Am I missing something? The rivalry? Is that what you mean? The rivalry I was talking about, maybe? Chub 6109. Hello. Thank you for being here. Glad to have you. The best referee in Africa was denied entry to USA because he was Somali. Yes, we talked about that a few minutes ago, but yeah, I did hear that earlier today. It's terrible. It's just terrible. All the restrictions that the US has right now is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Richard says there's been some terrible stories about the Balkans. Is this getting into a political realm, Richard? Or historical one? Probably both, right? They're usually intertwined. That's the thing about the World Cup because it's been going on for so long and every country participates on some level, or most countries do on some level. And then when you get to the bigger competitions, there's always these like long-standing rivalries between, just the actual countries from a football perspective, but also there's all the politics comes into play, right? So it gets like, it can get a little bit dicey, and there's so much going on where the United States is the center of it, and sharing the glory with Canada and Mexico, who the United States has threatened in the past 18 months. And then all these other countries that we are in conflicts with, trying to get onto the soil, the whole thing with Iran. They can come to the country for the match, but they can't stay. They got to leave immediately. Like, the whole thing is just so crazy. Richard said Trump drinks them. Yeah, I hope it's not like a long-standing stank, though, because that would be, it would just be so incredible if they won. Oh my God, it would be so crazy. All of this amazing stuff is happening and we're not there. Although, I guess the child's safety and future is something, right? But Neil says, I felt sorry for Trump's granddaughter, but I'm a softie. Yeah, I mean, kids don't have anything to do with it. They were booing him during the national anthem too, and I kind of feel bad for the singer because it's really hard to perform at that kind of arena anyway. But then, especially in a high stakes game like that, and then to perform under that kind of atmosphere, it makes it even harder. I was really feeling bad for that performer. He did a good job otherwise, but still, that's a tough gig right there. Richard said hold on, I moved it. Sorry. Richard said there's an article in the New Yorker about the basketball game. Yeah, there should be. It's the New York Knicks. Madison Square Garden. It's right in the middle of Manhattan. They play at the same place that the Rangers play, just so you know. For those of you who might not be familiar. Manny says everything Trump touches does turn to, he is the reverse of Midas. Yeah. Solid gold. What's happened to Trump's granddaughter? I think she was just there, Diane. I think that's what Richard's talking about. Mick MacArthur said, Scotland and France get on well. We once had a political alliance back in the 15th, 16th century. It was called the Auld Alliance. Auld Alliance? That makes sense. Yeah, let's look, I'm under the YouTube spell of copywriting, so let's be very careful about it. What we say, don't say for a couple weeks, please. Marcia says apparently one of Trump's sons is a very promising football soccer. He's in his college team. He's like a Peter Crouch. There must be Barron, the youngest. Obviously, the other ones are old and cokeheads. Neil Marson says, allegedly. Neil Marson says, Diane, she was standing beside Trump when he was booed and she looked so proud. Then the booing started. Oh, yeah. Poor thing. Madame Boo says, yeah, the French and Scottish alliance goes way back. Nice. And Richard said, didn't go so well for the Scots with the battles of Flodden and Pinkie. All right, we'll have to put that on the list to check out. Get a little more deets about that. But right now, I'm going to do a quick little listicle for you all. Because I was told, I recently got a comment from someone that, and I mean this genuinely and sarcastically at the same, more genuinely than sarcastically, but someone left a comment saying that I never talk about anything positive, that I'm all doom and gloom, which I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I mean, normally I'm comparing things, and yes, usually there's like a winner or like I'm leaning to one version or the other, but mostly it's just about like what's different and weird, not what either the United States or the UK does wrong. I don't know. There have been some heavy topics recently, so maybe that's part of what they're saying. I don't know. Maybe it's entirely untrue, but maybe it isn't, and I'm just not really understanding it. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think in the chat. I think that when you're an outsider looking in, it's just a lot easier to notice friction because you kind of have to, right? Because you have to make those adjustments. The gaps and the things that don't quite translate. And I talk about those things because, number one, they're part of my journey, right? And that's what the channel is about, my whole journey. But also I find them pretty fascinating because I just enjoy the psychology of it, where it comes from, if it's a pattern, if it's a culture thing, if it's a, just a sign of the times or whatever. And I like dissecting all of that. So that's might be why I guess it seems like I'm getting a little too heavy, but it's not the whole picture. So I challenged myself, I said, okay, I'm going to sit down and write down the things that I absolutely love about the UK so that I can do something positive, and hopefully that'll come through a little bit more, not just on the stream, but in all my future videos. And also just hoping that, people can understand that I am trying to balance and that I'm definitely not miserable or unhappy living here by far. So I came up with 45 things. And I pretty much stopped myself at 45 because I was like, I could probably go on a lot longer, but I didn't just stop at 10. I didn't stop at 20. I got 45 different things. Because, I've only been here 3 years, but apparently that does something to you. So Yeah. I guess somebody might be asking a little bit like why is an American making a list about loving our country? And I think my answer to that is not only because this person pointed out that they think I'm quite negative, and I don't think I'm a negative person at all, but also because, I see things kind of differently. And I do get some comments from people that appreciate what I have to say because it kind of reminds them, that of the positive things that are happening in the UK as well, or that exist here, I guess. Anyways, so yeah. I'm just gonna go over this list real quick. And you guys put in the chat, tell me what your favorite things about the UK are. And or wherever you're living at the moment. And also just tell me what you think of the list and let me know if there's something that you think I should have added or if you think that you completely disagree. Okay. Number one, the fact that it's not perfect, but also does not pretend to be perfect. For me, living in the United States and growing up there, spending most of my life there, there's such a complicated relationship that a lot of Americans have with self-awareness and self-criticism. And here in the United Kingdom, it just kind of goes, yeah, okay, this is a bit rubbish or this is not rubbish. Like, and it just moves on. And from my point of view, it's extremely refreshing. So that's the first thing that I thought of, which is kind of crazy, and random, but that is how I started. The second one is gun laws. We could probably do a whole stream on that. I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, next one, short election cycles, only 6 weeks. I cannot explain to you what that felt like the first time that I realized that it was only a short 6-week campaign. Because in America, they pretty much campaign 24/7 every single day of the year. Number 4, PTO, like actually legally protected paid time off that's guaranteed by the federal government. The company cannot take it away from you. You don't have to negotiate it when you get a job, all that stuff. None of that exists in America. No legally protected paid time off from the government's perspective anyway. It's all depends on what company you work for and what their individual, standards are, processes are. And I guess kind of camped onto that is the next one, which is just workers' rights in general. The fact that you have contracts, which you rarely have contracts in the US. The fact that you just have more protections. You have to have actual steps provided for you to be fired. Of course, there's always ways around it from a company's perspective, but anyway, we can get into more of that in another video or another stream as well. But basic workers' rights, yeah, it's my top 5 so far. Okay, number 6, pantomime, because it's very British. It's absolutely ridiculous. The audience participates. It's so nice to see that some kind of interaction. There's usually some kind of man in a dress because, Britain. And the Brits, you guys know exactly what I mean. And I know if there's any Americans that are listening, they're probably Googling it right now. But definitely Google it. Search for it on YouTube. Pantomime. Definitely worth a shout. Number 7 is panel shows. Specifically, where they do specifically the ones where they have the celebrities on and they're basically just taking the piss out of each other, talking about the news the whole time. Love that, love that, love that. Okay, number 8, mint clubs. McVitie's mint clubs. I'm going to leave it at that. Number 9, weird festivals and competitions. Not just something like Glastonbury, which is really cool. And we have like Coachella, which is like the corporate version of Glastonbury, but it's definitely not the same vibe. But also things like your cheese rolling and the wife carrying and the pancake flip thing. And what happened? There was one the other day that I saw randomly. I can't remember what it was. Oh, a man was trying to put his face through a horse collar or something. I don't know. Whatever's happening all over Britain now that the weather is nice. All the weird festivals and competitions definitely deserved a spot. They always make me laugh. And I usually learn about a new one almost every month. Number 10 is British humor, of course, but more specifically, the willingness to take the mickey out of everything around you, including yourself. I think it's a skill, one I hope to acquire someday. Number 11, so we dram a Scottish whiskey. That was terrible. It was so Irish. Anyway, I'm really coming around on Scottish whiskey. And so I had to put this on the list. I'm thinking of possibly doing like a little taste test at some point. Let me know if that's something that will interest you in a later one. Number 12 is calling out BS, but only when it's actually necessary. Not calling people out all the time just as a performance or anything, but just basically letting someone believe what they want to believe until it's absolutely necessary to call them out on it. Very British, as opposed to the American way anyway, and very much appreciated by my perspective anyway. Okay, the next section is all about food and drink. Pubs, not bars and clubs. There is a difference, and it is a huge difference that matters enormously. Pubs. That's all I have to say. Beer gardens, specifically in the spring, when it's technically still a little bit chilly out and everyone is outside in a t-shirt thinking it's summer and I'm still sitting there in my sweater. But it's a great little way to just relax when the weather's nice. And much deserved too after the long gray winters that you have here. Roast dinners. I like the ritual of it, of like having it every Sunday, and it's usually a family thing. But I also just like, I just really enjoy a roast dinner. And in America, you normally don't get them that much. Maybe on a big occasion and Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's pretty much it. So I do appreciate that you have them every single week, or most people have them every single week. And they're usually the same dinner. But I do appreciate also that, because we don't have them every week. So I do appreciate every time I get to go over someone's house and have a like fresh homemade roast dinner. And of course, Yorkshire puddings, which pretty much make any meal, but especially a roast dinner. So can never say that enough. Fish and chips, because obviously. I've never had it near the water because I'm kind of scared of being attacked by a seagull. But I have them as often as I can. Probably too often, and I probably should cut down on it because I'm getting to that age, but we'll see what happens. I have to give up a lot of stuff, and fish and chips is lower on the list. And also, overall, the high street, because you can still walk to the center of town, you can buy things there still, and it's the original buildings, or a lot of the original buildings, a lot of the original cobblestone streets. And there's a nostalgia and a history that you feel like you're a part of when you're walking down the street. It's something that most British people probably don't even take notice of or even acknowledge. And I know the high street is dying in a lot of people's perspective because of what it used to be like. It used to be a thriving area and everything. But I think it's something that we really have to protect. It sounds small until you've lived somewhere where you don't have it. And I think it's so unique and special to British culture. And I absolutely love walking to High Street and just walking around, grabbing a coffee or whatever. It's incredible. It's such a nice thing to do. And it's something I love doing here. All right. I think I'm going to look at the time. Yeah, let's speed this up a little bit. All right. Number 19, roses in springtime. Do I really need to say much more? I mean, England just does roses in a way that doesn't even feel like it's real. Leaves in the autumn. I did a whole video about autumn in the UK. I'll link it in the description box. Go check it out. I love it. Long summer days, because when they come, the whole country goes a little bit mad. but I'm totally here for it because I love them. The abundance of nature. You're genuinely never too far away from anything wild or green or ancient, and it's incredible. Gorgeous countryside views is number 23. I don't really have words. I just love driving around and pulling over randomly to get a picture of the rolling hillside. It's one of my new favorite things to do. Number 24, this is definitely because I'm a New Jersey girl, but never being too far from a beach. Pretty much any direction, any mood, there's some kind of beach for you. And I love that. Of course, that's because England is an island, but growing up only 30 to 45 minutes from a good beach in New Jersey is something that is ingrained in me. I don't know if I could ever live really far away from water, to be honest with you. So the England island living does agree with me. And number 25 is Robin Hood. I know it's not real, but a country that can mythologize stealing from the rich, kind of love it, to be honest with you. Maybe it's just because I'm American and we're like anti-tyranny, but maybe it stems from some of that stuff. But anyways, I love it. I grew up watching it. I love it. And I was very excited to see the statue when I went to Nottingham. Number 26, of course, castles. As I said, I grew up in New Jersey and we only have sand castles. So I still get uber excited every time I see a castle in the distance. History at your doorstep comes in at number 27. You literally, as I mentioned with the high street thing, you walk past buildings older than the country I grew up in. And people do it every day and don't notice it. And I mean, I noticed it because I'm not used to it, but it's something that's incredible again. And something another thing, how you preserve is incredible to me. I love it. It's so different from what I'm used to. 28 are streets and towns dedicated to books. I mean, when we went to Hanoi, I was pretty overwhelmed with the bookstores. Excuse me. Child suggested it because well into books, but it's not exclusive to that. I thought it was like a novelty of that, but there are actually streets in London and some of the other cities that are just lined with bookstores. And to be honest, almost every single little village that I've gone to that has a, more than just 3 buildings in their high street has at least 2 bookstores. It's really funny. But I love the fact that you guys still are nostalgic and you take care of reading and all of that. I think it's great. Definitely not something that I grew up with, so I do appreciate it. 29, Tower Bridge, have to admit, still gets me every single time, and I'm never going to apologize for it. Number 30, the Underground. I have a very secret obsession with the Underground. It's chaotic. It's hot. It's kind of annoying sometimes, but it's also quite beloved in my opinion and iconic. And I always think of all of the people who used it as a bunker during the Blitz. So for me, it just represents British culture very, very aptly. Number 31, the music scene, old and new. I mean, this island punches so far above its weight when it comes to music for decades and decades and decades, and it doesn't show any signs of stopping. So unique, so diverse, so many different things to learn and listen to, and all original and authentic. It's really, really, really incredible. I love the music scene here in the UK. Number 32 is sports culture. Basically, it doesn't matter what sport you follow. As we learned from some of the comments today, it's really just that the commitment is almost borders on spiritual. And I say this as someone who doesn't really follow a lot of sport religiously, except hockey and the Rangers. But there are people who follow sports in America on a like religious basis. So, that it's like their religion. But I never really fully understood it until I was immersed in the cultures, to be honest with you. And it's something that I definitely think I have to pay homage to, because the commitment is unwavering by far. Number 33 is diversity, particularly in the cities, but pretty much most of England, at least where I have been. The England that I live in is not the England that a lot of people imagine when they picture England from the United States, and I'm glad for that. I know a lot of it has to do with being so close to Europe, obviously having the British Empire and still having Commonwealth countries has a lot to do with it as well. But I think the diversity is incredible and amazing and something that we should be proud of in the United States, but we're not. And speaking of pride, that is number 34 in every sense of the word. Y'all definitely exhibit your pride, not in the same ways, not as, outgoing and over the top as Americans tend to do, but when it counts, you definitely exhibit your pride. And I love that. 35 is public transport. Not perfect, of course, but definitely better than any country where a car is the only option that you have. Secularism, number 36. Basically, there's the Church of England. I don't know if it's considered a national religion or not, but you actually do have a functional separation of religion and governance, which is more radical than it sounds, even though I come from the United States and it's literally written in our Constitution. But the fact that you have one of your heads of state, your head of state is basically the head of the church, but then you also have a governing body that has nothing to do with it. I like that. Number 37 is tolerance. Not perfect, not completely finished, and definitely could use some work, but heading in that direction, and I appreciate it. 38, common sense. Again, not universal, but more valued than not, which is a nice little change for me. 39, opportunity. I found my opportunity here, and that is definitely not nothing. Number 40, the British are always willing to help others. It sounds simple and a little old-fashioned when you say it out loud because it's kind of expected here in the UK. But it's not always like that everywhere. Where I grew up in New Jersey and in the really close to all the cities, it's not as abundant as you would think it should be. And I appreciate it. It still catches me off guard whenever I see it. Number 41, I speak about all the time, but it is the biggest thing, the biggest change, and the biggest thing that I love about being here is the sense of community, which exists in the UK even when it's not entirely visible. Number 42, how the military and veterans are honored every year without, it becoming some kind of litmus test. It's not about patriotism. It's not weaponized. You just honor them. It's incredible. Number 43 is the slower pace. Number 44 is the NHS. I could do an entire series on the NHS. I have done things on the NHS. It matters. It's important. And trust me, the alternative is not where y'all want to go. And I appreciate having the NHS, and I am willing to do anything I can to pay into it to help preserve it, whatever I can do. I find it incredible. And last but not least, number 45, bank holidays. Because sometimes a country just collectively agrees that they need a day off. And in my opinion, that tells me everything you need to know about life in the UK. So there it is. There's my 45. So for those of you who may not be familiar, over 3 years ago, I got on a plane with a whole list of reasons to be nervous and worried and not sure what I was going to get into. And some excitement, but much more anxiety. Some things worked out the way I thought they were, good or bad. Some things didn't. Some things completely shocked me. But I just want to kind of reach out to the person who left that comment and say thank you, because it genuinely made me stop in my tracks and think really clearly about what I love about living here and why I'm still here and why I am definitely not in any particular hurry to leave. As long as y'all will let me anyway. So what do you guys think? What do y'all got here? We got a few minutes left. Let me see if I can pull out some stuff, see if you have any questions. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat, Manny. I appreciate it. It says, I love these lives. Thank you. I'm so glad that you do. And I'm so glad that you're here with us and you're part of our wonderful community. Meg MacArthur says, if the leader of the USA thinks basketball, wait until he hears a football crowd. I'm worried about like what's going to happen to the Americans. F11 says, I don't think that it's the positivity and openness that drew me to your channel. It's your real opinions from experience that I like and your willingness to learn and ask questions. Thank you, F11. That was really lovely. I try. Look, I just believe in that. I believe in having conversations. You can't resolve anything if you're not open. And you have to be open to the fact that you could be wrong as well. One thing I've discovered is that the Americans don't understand the V sign, Richard says. Yeah. Manny says, who are these idiots posting these stupid comments? Of course, you talk about positive things, but you also say how it is too. You do balance things out. I don't find you too heavy. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Look, there's a lot. Our channel has grown a lot in the last couple months, and there's a lot of new people. So it's quite possible that they've just caught on to a couple of our recent videos. And like I said, they've been a little bit heavy, right? So it is possible that they just haven't seen a lot of the positive stuff out there yet. But they're out there, I promise. Go take a look at the catalog. There's lots of videos to choose from. Marcia says, honesty is the virtue. I try. I believe in that as well. Richard's, yeah, they don't know what that means. They don't. Americans don't know what the V means, Richard. Madam Boo says, I love our food and weather. I don't know about I like some of your weather. I do like a lot of your food. Diane says, I love the NHS. Right back at you. I totally. Mick MacArthur says, oh, no, it's not. Diane says, oh, yes, it is. Roy Cousin says, I'm always amazed by the dedication of the people who work in the NHS. 100%. I'm so happy. I'm sorry. I haven't a clue is back on the radio. Is that, I assume that's a show on the radio? I don't know. Roy Cousin says the face through a horse color thing is gurning. We'll have to do a thing on that too. Joe M says, in no province or territory of Canada do we have, quote, at-will employment where a person can be fired just because the boss walked in the room in a bad mood one day. I know. Mick MacArthur said, a wee dram is Scottish. Yes, I know. I used to have a shot glass that said it, actually. My father-in-law gave it to me my very first visit here. Did I say it was something else? If I did, I apologize, because I definitely misspoke. I don't know who Glen Murray is, but thanks, Marcia, for the comment. Madam Boo says, I love a roast dinner. I know, it's so amazing. I don't know what it is, but it's just incredible. It's just a roast dinner, but for some reason it tastes better here because you have real ingredients. Richard says, I have been to Canada and survived. Me too. Manny says, my top 7 things I love about the UK. Number 1, strict gun laws. Number 2, the NHS. Number 3, weird and wonderful quirks and festivals. Number 4, varied range of accents. Number 5, pubs. 6, long summer days. And number 7 is queuing. It's a very British list, Manny. F11 says, I am so sure the oldest adopted child has a camera in the house. Although he has his own flat now, he always pops home 10 minutes before any roast dinner we cook is ready. Yeah, well, I don't blame him. Marcia says it's just the ambiance with peaceful contemplation. Madam Boo says good list. Summer evenings are lovely. They are. Oh my god, I love that it doesn't get dark till like 10 o'clock. It's amazing. Richard said, is Mandy a mermaid? How did you say that, Richard? Mick MacArthur says, top of my list is the diversity of nature in the country and especially in the sea, from the wee gold crest to the massive basking sharks in the sea. Love it. Madam Boo says, I live in Leicestershire near the Nottingham border. Robin Hood is a legend. 100. I was once in a panto of Robin Hood and played the Sheriff of Nottingham. Nice, Richard. Did you wear the tights? Sheriff of Nottingham is cool. Yeah, I agree, madam. Manny says we could make our own personal list of things we all love about the UK, and chances are we would all have near enough the same things. Probably. I do love the UK. Marcia says keep Britain British in its values. That's what it boils down to. That's what being British means to me. I'm going to end with this actually. I'm sorry I'm not going to get to all of your comments, guys, but I know there's a lot of back and forth about being British, and I know I'll never be fully British, but part of living in a different country means you're never going to actually fully be that country, right? You're never going to actually fully be that nationality. But what's important is that you respect it, you try to adopt it where you can and fit it into your life as much as you can, and you appreciate it, and you don't try to change it in a way that's going to take away from it, right? You can't come in and say, oh, everyone has to speak a different language. That's never going to happen, right? And that's not the British way. But you can come in and say, hey, maybe this language could be offensive to foreigners, or maybe this, particular custom had its time, but now in modern day, it can be had offensive or something. Or just have conversations so that we can learn and grow together and just make the world happier, the communities better for everybody. I mean, that's ultimately what we all should try to aspire to do, no matter where we live and no matter what our circumstances are, in my opinion. Okay, guys, that's all the time we have for tonight. But before I go, real quick, there's not going to be a live stream next week because there's not going to be a live stream on Tuesday next week because it's my birthday next week. So I'm going to take some time off to celebrate a little bit. But there is going to be a bonus vlog out in its place. So fear not. But I do want you to make sure that you are subscribed and you hit the bell, because I've heard that YouTube has been randomly unsubscribing people. I think it might be some of the updates that they're doing, or it might be a byproduct of that. So just go in and double check, make sure you got the subscribe button on, make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss anything. And also a Behind the Diaries video drops tomorrow for all the members. So if you're not a member of the Mandyverse Collective, please hit that join button below to become one. We'd love to have you. There's tons of exclusive perks, not just on YouTube, but also on our website at hicksondiaries.com. But you have to be a member in order to get them. If you can't, no problem. Just make sure you like the stream on your way out. Double check to subscribe, like I said. Thank you all so much for taking the time out to join me tonight. I really, really do appreciate it, because for me, my life is so much better here in the UK, and it's definitely better when you all are there. Have a good day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, y'all.